3. Hey, what's up, G?
Zach T mixed it.
Hey, it's the Art of Revolution.
My bad. That was I
That was cool.
I don't know. Yeah, so that is a buddy of mine who makes music, and I was putting together a bunch of clips for him, and somehow that ended up on here. Man, the tech gods are not cooperating with me today, and I apologize, you guys. So
that was a sobering image.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that was kind of a compilation of all of the crazy bullshit that we had during the summer of quote unquote love. From the fabricated, I don't even know, like we were all there for it when we had the whole COVID thing and the Black Lives Matter thing. And it kind of was the precursor to everything that we're seeing today. And so with all that craziness, William had reached out to me and was like, hey dude, did you happen to see that military officer that got thrown out of the Congress? And I was like, yeah, I did, and he was like, well, guess what? Would you like to have him on the show? And I was like, bro, it would be perfect for Ungoverned Outlaws. Like Anthony Griffeo and I, like, that is where it is. So William was able to hook this up for us. And Brian McGinnis, dude, thank you so much for your service, and for standing up and saying that we don't want to die for your dumbass causes. So welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. It's an honor to be with you guys. I think I got an invite from you guys through my email a while back, and you guys talk about bringing me out to Vegas. I'd still love to come out and meet you guys in person sometime. Anthony, I want to dance with you in your garage sometime. And White Rabbit, it would be great to hear some White Rabbit chasing stories from me someday, maybe.
You know what's crazy, Brian, is literally, so I'm friends with Clyde.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Clyde's a great guy.
Yeah.
And literally the day that all of this happened, he put up a video of you in somebody's office prior, right? And I literally was like, I hope you guys are over there to like cause some ruckus, whatever. And then all of a sudden, all that happens. I was like, whoa, like ruckus happened, all right. Like, seriously. Crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Mad ruckus.
Hilarious.
So we were fortunate enough to have William on the last episode, and we thought it'd be perfect to bring him on here because he does know Brian, and he freaking crushed it when he was on with us. I mean, he crushes everything that he touches. So welcome, William. It's good to have you on with us, brother.
I appreciate it, man. It means a lot. And it's good to, see Brian again and be with Anthony and Catalyst Jones once again. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, I'm greatly looking forward to this too. And before we figure out how you guys even know each other in the first place, Brian, what led you to get involved and do what it is that you're doing and ultimately find the spotlight?
Well, I spoke with William earlier about this in the week. Just the 2.5 years of witnessing the Gaza genocide, my heart connection through my wife, who's American Palestinian, and my own military experience has all come together to just give me a full circle perspective on what's happening in the world and how real it is. And so witnessing 2.5 years of the genocide, going into that war preparedness briefing and hearing the generals speak nothing of Israel's influence or our actions and ceasefire vetoes and the UN councils, all this has been happening. And then just the continuous ignoring of it by our government officials, even though we're intentionally spending and giving all our money to the cause. It was just a buildup of all that, and it culminated in what I said on March 4th.
That's my birthday.
Great. Oh yeah, great, man. Happy birthday, man.
That was a great birthday present. So I'm curious though, like knowing the state of our government, knowing like the temperature of the room, were you expecting to get the kind of pushback that you received?
No, I did not. I didn't. I was there to state my case and speak my words and practice my First Amendment. I wore my uniform to, illustrate how I fought for this country. If anybody should have that right, should be me, even though I know there's sleazeballs in every avenue of this world. Just because you're something doesn't mean you're a good person at it or anything. So, but at least just to speak towards the whole ceremonious, narrative that we speak about, we fight for freedom, we fight for our liberties, that wasn't even attributed to me. So it's kind of the irony.
Yeah, and I think like it was such an important moment. It was such a catalyst because like we weren't even like going into the Iran war yet, right? Like this was like a precursor to it all happening. Like you kind of saw through the fog of war already, that this was coming and you got ahead of it. And it's just really interesting to see where we're at now with it, because like I remember during the 12-day war, I was like, this isn't going away. Like, they said their ceasefire or whatever. It was like, this is going to happen again. And it's going to happen on a scale that is going to be much bigger. Right. And I think, no disrespect to the military. I know you're a Marine, no disrespect to them. But I think that they bit off more than they can chew with Iran. I think that they didn't expect for the things to happen that happened. I think that we're being lied to about casualties. I think we're being lied to about the amount of money that we've spent already and the amount of money that we've lost from bases alone, from lawnmower style Shahed drones. You're talking about $20,000 drones that are taking out billion-dollar radar systems at our bases. And I think that this is why Trump right now is doing the best that he possibly could to make himself look like he's the winner, but not really being the winner at all. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think that his whole crash out of like, I'm going to bomb the bridges, I'm going to send them back to the Stone Age. It's just him knowing that it's like, I can't strategically beat these guys. My personal opinion, maybe you feel the same way, my personal opinion, but when that F-15 Eagle got hit and they did that rescue mission, I'm pretty sure that was a failed ground invasion. You had the C-130s that got bombed. You had an ID that was from a woman that was a professional uranium scientist. So I think that they tried basically everything that they possibly could to do Israel's bidding, right? To go and do this. In my opinion, it was a smokescreen the entire time. We go fight Iran, a military that we really can't beat, no offense. And then they just go and do what they did to Gaza, to Lebanon, Greater Israel Project.
Yes. I agree with you 100%, and there's no offense taken. We're talking about our administration putting our military in this position. We're not downplaying or disrespecting the military folks. So that people have to be able to see that. We're not anti-military. We're not anti-America. We are anti-administration. We are not for what's happening today, and that's what we're speaking about. Anybody who can't pick up on that, we're not talking to you, I guess.
Exactly.
There's a lot of people calling this, they're calling this the Iraq 2.0, and it's even getting thrown around that this is the Vietnam 2.0, which I think is a lot more fitting because we're just basically throwing numbers out there at this point. And what we're getting back, not even from just the mainstream media, but what we're getting back through our social medias and everything is really hard to trust. And I follow certain accounts on social media, as most people do, and I'm getting contradictive things where I'm seeing Gaza getting destroyed, and then I'm seeing retaliations, and I'm seeing Tel Aviv getting pummeled, but yet at the same time, it's like no bigger than New Jersey, and like how many fucking missiles can they take? Like the whole thing should be wiped out by now. And so I was watching the Gypsy Crusader play videos for some guys that were supposedly in Israel, and they were like, "You fucking idiot! Look at the license plate frames. That's not Israel." And so, like, I'm curious, like, what the fuck is really going on? Is there an actual bombing taking place? Like, are they exchanging bombs, or is this some sort of like psyop being played over everyone right now, where the casualties are taking place in a way that we don't even know about?
Can I answer?
Yes, please.
I think that Iran is fighting what's called a war of attrition. right? So what they're doing is they're depleting the interceptors from the David Sling, from the Iron Dome. So what you're seeing is missile barrage is coming to basically deplete all of that. And then once that really started to get depleted, you start to see places like there was a huge hit in Dimona. There's a lot of hits. I mean, I don't know how to say it correctly, Bashiva or whatever. It's a part of Tel Aviv. There's buildings that are just completely gone that it looks like Gaza. Like, so I wouldn't believe that the whole PSYOP thing or whatever, Gypsy Crusader, these people are saying Israel really is getting hit, and they're getting hit hard. I think Iran is getting hit just as hard. You know, Tehran is getting torn up by the IOF and by the American military. So do I think that there's an actual war going on? Yes, 1000%. You know, we can't just fall into this whole entire era. It's all CGI. It's all fake. It's all this. It's all that. Like, shit's really going down, you know?
I would agree. Tony Aguilar mentioned he was in Israel during some of the bombings from Iran and the missile strikes. And he saw an engine from one of these long-range missiles still like propelling itself while the rest of the projectile was kind of in the ground. And he said this motor was just almost as big as a small cottage, you know, just still grinding away. So just that mental picture makes you think of the enormous machinery that's used to propel ammunitions, you know, hundreds of miles, almost 1,000 miles.
Two quick things on that. So Tony Aguilar, he was a whistleblower who went to Gaza. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he went to Gaza. Oh, okay, yeah, and he witnessed literally kids being killed by the IOF, you know, as they were waiting in line to get food. So he came out. He's like, hey, this Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is all bullshit. They're killing everyone. Like, they line them up to get the aid that they withheld. They collectively punish the whole population. And once they were in line to get the aid, they started shooting them. These kids are starving. Literally, they're starving. And I had cousins being like shot at these aid sites too. One was 14 years old. The other one was 11 years old. You know, they both survived, but they're injured now, life-altering injuries. And I had another question. When was Tony in Israel, and why was he there? Like, was this like after, like, recently?
It was on his time leaving from the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation.
Oh, okay. So this was like the first like initial waves of strikes.
Mm-hmm.
That was back in the summer. Okay, I thought he was there like somewhat recently. I was like, what the hell is he doing over there? But
yeah, no, not recently. I guess it was the last summer strikes.
Okay.
12-day war during that time, probably. But yeah, I mean, first off, you have to understand something. Like, Iran, they don't want to be in a war. They don't want to be in a war. They want to be, excuse my language, but they want to be left the fuck alone. You know what I mean? Like, people are saying, well, why did they bomb all their airstrips and all of their, because you know what, as people think, like, obviously people in this chat don't think this, but there's people that actually believe that the IDF is the most moral army and whatever, all the bullshit that they believe, the Christian Zionists and the Jews. But actually, no, Iran is way more moral, way more respectful, way more understanding of God. First off, as William said on our episode last time, they had a fatwa that they would never make a nuclear bomb. So this whole entire, it's WMDs, it's all a lie. Oh, they say death to America and they want to kill all Americans. No, they say death to America because America is literally putting bases all around them, surrounding them. They've been waiting 47 years for this. They've seen it. They knew what was coming. They already knew what was going to happen. So they've been preparing for this moment, right? Like, people that had just caught on to this stuff think like Benjamin Netanyahu just has control of Trump. He's had control of every single one of our presidents except for Kennedy, you know? And that's just really what it comes down to. So the reason why Iran hasn't gone over there and just completely carpet bombed them is because it's kind of like, if you understand, like a fighter, like they're throwing jabs, and then sometimes they'll throw a power punch. They don't need to throw the full knockout. What they need to do is they need to disrupt living. They need to disrupt their money, because it's not just Israel that's getting hit. You have to understand that. All the Gulf areas are getting hit as well. And those are all Zionist entities. You know, people are like, oh, well, they're Muslims. Why are they going at each other? Wrong. They could be Muslims, but they're Zionist Muslims. They're crypto Jews. you know, everybody in the UAE and Dubai and all these places. They know what they're doing. They're fighting a war of attrition. If they wanted to, yes, they can go and take out Israel tomorrow. But what is that going to do? That's just going to make Israel probably nuke them, or America nuke them, whatever. It's just going to start World War III. They're trying to strategically fight a battle that's protecting themselves. They're counterfighters. They're not going out there and being an aggressor. They're going out there and protecting themselves and saying, basically, you know, to bring up the Austrian painter, this is what the Austrian painter did. He said, I don't want a war with you. He dropped off peace pamphlets. He dropped off Rudolf Hess, his second in command, and he got kidnapped. So this is the story that's already been told many of times. And I think it was either the president of Iran it was the president of Iran. The president of Iran, like a couple weeks ago, wrote a letter to the American people saying, I don't want this war. I don't want to fight with you guys. I have no problem with America. I have no problem with any of you. I have a problem with Israel trying to take Lebanon. And I have a problem with Israel trying to fight against us. And we will protect ourselves because we have the right to do so.
That's right. They would try to say Israel has the right to defend themselves, and why can't Iran defend themselves?
You know, what's funny is before Charlie Kirk and that whole think of what you will with it, but before that ever happened, and he was kind of on the side of Israel, and somebody had made an AI meme and it showed Jesus getting crucified on the cross and everybody standing there watching. And then it panned over to Charlie Kirk and he picked up the microphone and he said, Israel has the right to defend itself.
Yeah, I remember that meme. Yeah.
And the funny thing about that is if we want to reverse back to that day, and like, I know I've said this and I probably sound like a broken record, but I still cannot fathom how a flying go-kart got through the best defense shield supposedly on the planet. And there it just pisses me off because here we go. It's another victimhood thing. And they actually scored on it because if you talk to most NPCs or boomers, they're going to agree with the mainstream narrative and think that they're out there defending themselves. When in reality, it was one of those things when you're watching the cartoons and like the little brother will like keep pissing off the big brother until the big brother finally turns around and fucking punches him. And that's kind of like what we're witnessing here is like, yeah, it's just a false flag at its best. And I'm curious, where is this going to go now? Because our recruitment is down. And we've just lowered the age to 40 something, if I'm not mistaken.
42.
And 42, and we still can't get anybody in the seats.
Yeah, I agree, man. They've just counted on being the first to be heard and making their lies first to be heard and counting on that to make such an impact and on people, those NPCs and boomers, and stick with them. Thankfully, the younger generation is more critical in their minds and they can see past these, lies, and it's starting to unwind and crumble. And we see the desperation in Israel with their 160 bombs and one in 10 minutes in Lebanon, and all these last attempts of trying to fight and go. It's their struggling cries. It's not any show of strength. So it's going to take some time, but it's unraveling for them, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. And like what people need to really like recognize is that Gaza and like all these places, Lebanon, these are all testing grounds for what's going to come to America. Study history and history will always repeat itself, right? My personal opinion is I think that America is going to have the Bolshevik Revolution in it. I think that they're going to come over here with their new shiny toys because all these, I don't want to get anti-Semitic, but all these Jews own all of these tech companies. They own Palantir, they own Oracle, they own all the companies that are building a police state, a surveillance state in our country. And they're going to find people like Asfour and say, you know what, these guys, their social credit system or whatever, it's not fitting. We're throwing them in the gulag. And I think that's going to happen very fast. And I don't know if you guys know about Project Lavender, but that was actually used in Gaza by Palantir, where they were able to use facial recognition systems to actually know, we're like, oh, we can just say that this little kid's a terrorist or whatever and just bomb him. You know, Larry Ellison himself, the owner of Oracle, who now owns TikTok, right? The Chinese people owned it. Nothing bad happened. Now all of a sudden the Jews own it. It's horrible. But Larry Ellison himself said that that they won't need cops anymore. They can use AI as cops, and they will start to use drones. They'll send a drone to your house. So this is coming for America. If we don't break away from this cancer that's metastasizing in our country, it's coming for us. And we're going to need people like you, Brian, standing up against this machine and actually being an America first person. I know you're running for the Green Party. I'm completely against politics at this point. You know, I wouldn't even say I'm anywhere. I think that we're fighting a battle of good and evil. I think we need to crash the system completely. But, you know, wherever you can fit in and get your message out is what you're going to do. But I think that the whole entire political establishment is owned by the Jews. So, you know.
Yeah. One of the surveillance projects. Oh, sorry, my bad. The surveillance project you mentioned in Gaza, they had a project called "Where's Your Daddy?" You know what I mean? So they would use AI like surveillance and like find a father of a family and literally target and kill him, just to have the children like suffer. You can look this up. It's called "Where's Your Daddy?" or "Where's Daddy?" Palantir, you know, all that garbage. Like it's insane how they're doing it in like 4K.
Disgusting.
It's live streamed, and they've killed over 20,000 children, and people are still sitting here like trying to defend them. It makes no sense to me.
It's disgusting.
Well, you know, I think it's awesome that Brian was willing to get up there and stand up in front of people and actually try to make his voice heard. And it made a bigger impact than you had originally anticipated, because you ended up going viral, and that is good. But, you know, what I was just bringing up earlier is we can't get people to enlist, and that's great because nobody wants to go die for these corrupt freaking pedophiles anymore. And that's fucking awesome. But at the same time, does that leave us in a very vulnerable situation? Because if I'm an adversary of the United States, like China, I'm looking at what's going on with my mouth watering, saying, oh man, we can like come in from one of the coasts and hit these motherfuckers right after taking out their power grid, when they're so wrapped up in their president's freaking Epstein scandals, this and that, and they're trying to fight an unbeatable war right now. Like, what is Russia and China doing right now?
I agree. I think they're sitting back, just letting us make our own mistakes. I think Israel's, you know, coercing us into do this at our own detriment. We are getting weaker and wasting all our money and troops in this futile effort, and weakening our moral position in the world and our physical position. And Israel's at the behind of this, so we have to detach from them for our own benefit. And we're still a strong enough country to do that, back up and reassess and reestablish ourselves and reestablish, you know, international law and diplomacy with other countries and save ourselves. So that's up to us as the people to elect people this next midterm that will stand up for that. And so, you know, Anthony, you explained a real scary future, you know, seeing things with the surveillance state coming back here to, you know, run us and things. And I totally understand that. And I just hope to present a better option, as if we do stand up for this right here and now, you know, make a change in our government so to where we can, you know, keep that from happening through our laws and through our government. But I'm with you. I have had the same disappointment and, you know, wanting to give up on those things. And I think it will take everybody, from crashing the system to trying to take up positions in the government. It's going to take everybody to enact in their own way to turn us around, because we're in deep, man.
Totally.
You know, I'd like to bring it a little bit more local here, because like it is just to kind of piggyback with what Anthony was saying, and the younger generation, you know, I'm 46 years old and I've completely lost faith in the political sphere. And then Trump came around and I fell into the whole Q trap. And I really thought that we had an outsider that was going to come in and do some damage. And, you know, people are looking at the climate of the world right now, and they are seeing that, you know, like, why do I keep voting? Like, but what is the alternative? Where do we go if we all decide not to vote? Like, there's got to be some sort of a backup plan, because if we just walk away from this, you know, it's great that we're sitting here and we're pointing out the problems, but until we're talking about solutions, like, we're just going to be spinning around in circles.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think that we need to do what the Constitution tells us to do with traitors. I think that we should have local militias, and we should be prepared for the fight that's ahead of us. But if we're going to take the political route, you know, let's give Brian the mic here. And why don't you tell us a little bit what your plan is, where you're running, what you're doing? Fill us in a little bit here.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I'm running for the Senate seat in North Carolina. North Carolina has 2 senators. I'm going for one of the federal positions. And I would be in charge of creating laws, joining committees, and representing North Carolina at the federal level. And I could see myself trying to represent the North Carolinian people and their betterment, and easily taking the $432 million plus we've given to Israel over the last 2.5 years, and stopping that, our taxpayer dollars going that direction, and keeping them domestic, and creating healthcare for everyone, affordable housing, child care subsidies, $25 minimum wage, quality education, and free public higher education. These are all things that we could afford if we stop giving our money abroad. And so those are these domestic things that I would want to promote and put into legislation and put into action here in North Carolina. And so that's my small little window of influence I'm striving to take on, and I'm putting everything I can to learn about that, campaign, and achieve this position for the greater good. And this is my own little niche. We all got our own little groups, and this is what I'm going for. And I've been learning like crazy about politics and all these things. I've never wanted to be a politician, but it was my depression and sadness over this Gaza genocide that I just would sit here and be depressed, or can I just pivot myself into some action? And here I am.
Yeah, because if we can get more legitimate people that aren't being pushed into these positions with an agenda behind them, I remember years ago, we were trying to push people to even like run for your local school boards and stuff, start local, get in where you can fit in. And once we start to get to these higher levels, we start to see more and more of influential money coming in to back these people. And AIPAC is a huge donor to, it's like 90% of our politicians. It's ridiculous. So we have to figure out a way to completely demolish AIPAC, get that out of there. As far as I'm concerned, if you're taking money from a foreign entity to help run the United States, then that means you owe favors to that foreign entity, and therefore you're going to have to put that foreign entity over the American people. And right there, that is the definition of treason as far as I'm concerned. And when I was saying I want to bring this back local, I ran into some red tape here, and I got myself involved in a committee where we're dealing with the chemtrails, because in my area, they're just extremely bad, and the aluminum in the soil is ridiculous, to the point where within the last 2 months, it's went from 100 something to 200% over like what it's supposed to be at. And so we have this committee thing going, and we even have an and I say ex loosely, an ex-CIA agent involved in this, and we've been writing people, and we tried to get some politicians involved, and they won't go on the record about anything, and because they've all been told, or they've all signed gag orders, so they can't talk about it. Like, we've pinpointed what airspace this is coming, what airport this is coming out of, actually the Navy Air Force airport over here by my house. It's coming from them. We have all these things, and there's politicians that are saying like, yeah, we know about it, but we cannot say a fucking thing. And that is scary as fuck to me.
Yeah, I mean, the whole entire system is rotted. The whole entire system is rotted from the inside. So, I mean, that's why, and it's not to crush your dreams or anything. You know, I really pray to God that you do win and you can make change. But it's going to be really hard to make change when the entire system is controlled in so many ways, right? Like Israel is a octopus that has so many tentacles in our country. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's not even just government level, it's everything. And it's like, until we actually, I'm not going to say the word kill, but until we get rid of this octopus and throw it back into the deepest trench of the ocean, it's going to be hard to beat them. And I think honestly, our strongest weapon is our mic. You know what I mean? I think that these people, the thing that they fear most is them being exposed. You know, that's why if you go back to 2,000 years, out of the 112 countries that they've been kicked out of, every time that they get exposed, you know, in the town hall, in the community of the people that want to remove them, you know, whether it's from the top or from the bottom, that's what they fear most. And this is why they have their ultimate weapon of anti-Semitism, you know, places like the ADL and all Stop Anti-Semitism and all these different things. That's their weapon. But our weapon is the more voices that we get out there speaking this, and the more ears that we reach telling them the truth, from historical to biblical to the top, you know, to where we are now. That is our strongest weapon right now, is our mics, is our cameras, is getting out there and speaking this, because we have power in the numbers, right? And the only way that we can truly crack this system open is by removing these people, you know, whether that's a physical thing or whether that's we expose them thing. But, you know, the more people that we get rallied up and ready to go, I think that that's how we win. You know, you can make a difference, of course, 1,000%. And I hope that you do, like I said, but it's an entire rotted system, man. It's we have to remove the tumor, you know what I mean? That cancerous tumor that's in our country. And it's Israel. You know, it's not AIPAC. It's not it's Israel. If you want me to really say it, you know, I don't give a fuck. It's Jews, okay? You know, because there's people who say, oh, there's good Jews. There's this. Okay, sure, maybe there is good Jews. But guess what? Most good Jews still believe in Judaism. And Judaism is Satanism. It's just it. It's a satanic religion. It's a dead religion. They're still all seeking a Messiah. The Messiah came, they killed him. And they don't realize that what they're doing is they're practicing heresies, and they're practicing dark magic and Kabbalah and all this stuff. And that's not just oh, you're a Zionist. No, there's regular Jews in America that do this. If you practice Judaism and you practice it, especially in a Talmudic way or a Kabbalistic way, then you're a dark sorcerer. I don't make the rules. I didn't tell them to go and make golems in Prague. I didn't tell them to go and do the things that they do and have tunnels under Brooklyn and weird stained mattresses. I don't tell them to do these things. They choose to do it, and they don't want you to know about it. So our strongest weapon is right here, our microphone. And I
want to agree with you and give you a little bit of pushback, because 100% these microphones are very fucking powerful. If they weren't, they wouldn't be offering $7,000 for pro-Israel posts for higher up influencers. My buddy Maverick was getting offered money to stop talking about certain things, and he said, fuck you, no, I'm going to talk about it even more. And so if our voices didn't matter, they wouldn't be trying to silence us. I wouldn't have gone from having thousands of story views every single day to damn near fucking 20 a day if our voices didn't matter. Now, I also agree with Brian, because what did Trump's bitch ass say when he was running the last time? Too big to rig. Now, if we could flip it on them and we could shine the mirror right back at them, and we can get enough good people in the seats of these committees and of these things with the right reasons and not evil people backing them, then we could positively make a difference. We absolutely could. As long as we get enough people in there, then other people will start putting their trust back into that system, into voting, and then people will start returning to their voting polls. But right now, we feel like we've gotten fucked every which way of Sunday. Not only did the first time we vote for the person that we thought was going to save the world, we got it ripped out from underneath us. And that was also just a big game. Like that was just like, they're going to install who they want at that highest level of position. They're just going to install them, you know, but like, go back to what I was saying, the too big to rig. Now, could that have all been a facade and they were just going to put Trump in from the very beginning anyway? And we had to go through the whole Biden era and everything to get the turmoil that we're in right now. Yeah, probably. However, we did show that there is force in numbers, because the thing that wasn't fake is the energy that was behind MAGA and the MAGA movement, and the people that were involved in it were real people that were coming from the ground level. And I think that if we can somehow capture that and put it back into, because people were involved in the right reasons, right? Brian, just like you didn't get involved in the military because you wanted to go fight for these bankers and you wanted to go fight for these people that are ultimately hurting their own people. You went there because you had good intentions and you wanted to, I mean, I could be completely wrong. I'm just assuming here that you wanted to fight for your country and the people of your country, correct?
Right. Yeah.
And so I feel like if we get
grandmas
people
and moms, you know.
Exactly. And
when did you join?
2000.
So basically like right around 9/11, and
it was before 9/11.
Interesting, because a lot of people like mostly signed up after 9/11. You know?
And I mean that's real bravery.
Yeah, that's when the Toby Keith songs were playing real loud. You know, we got to go kill those Muslims. You know.
Yeah, right.
A lot of people got tricked into that. You know, I'm friends with a lot of like ex SEALs and ex Special Forces on Instagram that are super fucking based, that talk about the Jews, that talk about Palestine, that are like fully against this war. Like, you know, and it's no disrespect to say this to you at all, but like a lot of them are finding out like I fought wars for Israel, you know?
Right.
I mean, it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to swallow. So I'm with you.
Right. Yeah. Well, my buddy that was he was what's the highest army ranking that you can, or the highest army
general or colonel?
Well, no, not ranking, but it's basically
a Green Beret.
Yes. So that was his ranking. And when he first started out, he was in Iraq and they were knocking down doors looking for weapons of mass destruction. And he said that after like a couple months out there, he realized that they were just going to civilians' houses that had no idea and nothing to do with any of this shit.
Yeah. Cat Williams has a great joke where he's talking about how America are some bullies, right? And he's like, tell me what the Iraqi uniform looks like. He goes, I'll wait. You can't, because we're over there killing motherfuckers in flip-flops, sweatpants, and a cowboy hat. Because that's what we were doing. We're killing civilians. We've always been killing civilians, and we're still doing it to this day. And it's like, you know, not to push back to your pushback on what you're saying, because I'm 1000% with you. The power in the numbers. Maybe we could get it done. Maybe we can get people up in there. But you also have to take into account that Miriam Adelson just put $30 million into Republican CPACs, super PACs. So it's going to be pretty hard to beat these Jews that all of them are billionaires. Like if you look up how many billionaires are Jewish, it's like 70%. So like, how do we beat their money? We have to beat them with exposure, I'm not saying like violence, but like they have to be scared of us. Like I hate to say that, but like they have to be scared of us. They should be scared to walk down our streets. They should want to go live in fucking Israel. They should want to get out of here. Like you should feel uncomfortable. You shouldn't feel like you should be a hoity-toity Jew walking around New York City and feel okay. You should feel the pressure. Like, no. People don't like us. We should get the fuck out of here. You know, that's what they're always saying. We go back to Yerushalayim. We have to go and da-da-da. And maybe that's part of their prophecy. Maybe they want us to hate them and they want to build their third temple or whatever. But guess what? Get the fuck out of my country. And Laura Loomer, one last thing that you can go. Laura Loomer, Mark Levin, all these propagandists that are pushing for Israel and not for America, get the fuck out of my country. Sorry, Brian, you go.
Yeah, no, but those people don't speak for all Jews. I was talking to Jonathan Randall, a Jewish comedian. He's been speaking out for Gazans for 5 years. And then David Says Stuff from Instagram, David Spacek. Those are two outspoken Jews that denounce what the state of Israel is doing. Two. But there's many others like that. And I know that there's a few are overwhelmingly that most Jews do support this. I know that's what the statistics say, but we can't. I would just warn from falling into the same, painting everyone with the same brush tendency, which is falling into what's, fuels to Islamophobia or any other type of racism, and just staying critical in the sense of who we don't hate people, we hate their actions, and we detest people's actions, and keep it critical to that point. Just so it doesn't fuel the Zionist propaganda, which depends on true anti-Semitism. So they're going to take your vocabulary and say, look at this, what he's saying, and
I mean it. So
I know you do. And
sorry.
I understand where it's coming from. I'm just saying it just fuels this bullshit that they
I agree.
The NCPs and the boomers with, and keeps that narrative going.
How about this? Let me reword myself here, okay? If you agree with the modern state of Israel, because the actual Jews that know that they're supposed to be scattered through the earth, they're okay. They're cool, But the ones that like really support modern Israel, really support what's been going on with Gaza, really support these things, have more of, because listen, if you actually understand the statistics of the IDF, most of them come from America, bro. Most of the IDF leaves America to go to Israel to go and kill children. Okay. So there's a big statistic of these people. They think I'm a goyim. Okay. They think I'm cattle. They think my Lord and Savior is burning in shit. Okay. Yes, I get it. We shouldn't be hostile towards them or anything like that. And I agree with that. I'm not saying go out and punch a Jew in the face. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying if they think that their country of Israel is so much more important than America, get the fuck out of my country. Let me make that point to you, because I agree. There are good Jews out there. I'm not saying every Jew is bad. I'm not some Hitler fanatic or anything like that at all. I'm just saying, if you agree that your country, Israel, this chosen land, this ethno state, whatever, you think is so much better than where you're living right now, but you're living off of everything that happens in America, like Lakewood, New Jersey, get the fuck out, dude. You're using all of our, what's that called? When they welfare and all these programs, taking all this money from us. We're worried about a Somali daycare that some fucking faggot found. Sorry, I'm just getting angry. But that some guy found, and Nick Shirley, I think that guy's an op, to be honest with you. I think that guy's an op. Yeah. So, going after the Somali, going after the Somali daycares, but sorry, literally there's Lakewood, there's all these other Muncie, New York, all these places that Jews are literally just taking everything from us, bleeding us dry. So
if I can jump in real quick.
Yes,
so
sorry.
You're good. So with Jews, majority of them are Zionists, you know what I mean? And as a Palestinian from Gaza, living in Gaza, having Israel killing my family for decades, I have an expectation on me as the one who's oppressed to make sure I make clear distinctions of my oppressor, and that pisses me the fuck off. You know what I mean? It makes you're like, hey, we know we're bombing you, we're taking your land, we're killing your people, we're throwing everyone in jail, blah blah blah. But make sure you make a distinction between anti-Zionist Jews and Zionist Jews. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, but why do the oppressed have to do that? You know what I mean? It really makes me mad. And I get it from a point of being like, if I want to be strategic and have media appearances, if I say anything quote unquote anti-Semitic, I won't be able to have spaces to talk and stuff like that. And it makes me so fucking mad, because majority of them are Zionists. Majority of Jews are Zionists. There's a small minority. There's very few of them, and they do speak out against Zionism, the political ideology, Jewish supremacy. They speak against that, but that's like the bare minimum. You should be against genocide. You should be against apartheid. You should be against ethnic cleansing and settler colonialism and killing children. I'm not going to over glorify this small minority. You know what I'm saying? But it's expected of me to do that, and that really pisses me the fuck off, especially given everything that's happening to me and my people. One real quick thing, shit, I forgot. But I will say this. So about Muslims, you know what I mean? It is fucking open season. You can say whatever you want about Islam. You can say whatever you want about Muslims. You can say whatever you want about Arabs, Palestinians. But the second you even critique Israel, a state, you're fucking canceled. You're deemed anti-Semitic. You're silenced. You know what I'm saying? You're everything is suppressed. I just want to read these really quick tweets from representatives right now, currently in Congress. So Tennessee Rep. Andy Ogles, he said, Muslims don't belong in American society. Pluralism is a lie. He said that March 9th, 2026. Randy Fine, that fat fucking Florida. He goes, We need more Islamophobia, not less. Fear of Islam is rational. And he's a Jew, by the way. He's a Zionist Jew. I'll say Zionist Jew. Brandon Gill from Texas, he goes, how many more Americans have to get Allahu Akbar before we realize Islam is a problem? And then one last one is, or two really quick. This guy says, radical Islam is on the offense in America. Ban Sharia now before it's too late. This is a Texas representative. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, imagine anyone said anything about Judaism or Jews, you know what I'm saying, or Israel, they're going to be canceled. But because it's Islam or Arab or Muslim, you're going to be, it's open season.
If that one, it was like there needs to be more. So if you were to reverse that and say, if he was to tweet out there needs to be more anti-Semitism, like, could you imagine like the public hangings that would take place? Yeah. And you know what scares me though, you guys, is with Palantir and everything, it does seem like they've been allowing people to talk. Like, they might be shadow banning the fuck out of people, but still the message is everywhere. It's getting out. It's like anti-Semitism is being pushed. And then in that, they're getting everybody to jump on board and jump on the train with it. And I'm like 100% sure that they're just collecting all this data. And so when there is a turnaround or a takeover, you know, our names are going to be touching on the list to go into the camps together.
Fuck it. I don't care. Honestly, I've been talking about this stuff for 20 years. I've been on the list for a long time. So it is what it is. And I think that living in a world that they would be in control of in America is a world I wouldn't want to be alive in anyway. So I'd rather die on that hill, to be honest with you. And I really think, like, back to what I was saying about just like, yeah, there's anti-Zionists, but most Jews that are practicing Jews believe in the Talmud, you know, and that's just as bad as Zionism. That's believing that Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, is burning in shit in hell, you know. It's believing that they can rape a 3-year-old if it's a goy child. It's believing just you know, go check it out for yourself. Go check out the Sanhedrin. Go check out the Gamat. Go check out all those things. They're all right there for you. And then, you know, Jews will be like, oh, that's just an argument about da-da-da-da-da and this, that, and the third. And it's like, yeah, okay, bro. You're not tricking me with your trickery. But, you know, I will say that I hope that there's Jews out there that are maybe listening. Doubt it. But hopefully you're out there and you realize that your religion is fake and gay, and it's not, you have no connection to the divinity of Christ or to God at all. You know, at least when it comes to the Muslims, they believe in Jesus Christ. They believe in Mary. They believe in, we are so much more connected to them that it's not even funny. And I won't go into, I believe that Jesus is God. That's just a whole nother conversation for another day. But, you know, we are so much more in lockstep with the Muslims than we are Jews. Jews believe that he's burning in hell and shit. Anytime that they see him, they want to mock him. They literally, like, the entire Bible is about the house of Israel being punished. And then when Christ comes, him just being treated like garbage and then put on a cross. I mean, for prophecy and for reason of taking the sin of the world. But still, it's like, why would I go against the Muslims that believe more in my religion than the people that don't believe in my religion at all?
Yeah, I'm curious, William. So for the Muslims, the practicing Muslims, obviously, actually, this isn't obvious. You do, though. You see the fact that they are trying to force prophecy and they need everybody to hate Israel. And so in doing so, it just falls in line with everything that we see taking place right now. Like, I'm just curious, like, what are your thoughts on that? And how do we band together? And like, I'm hoping that we can walk away tonight with some solutions, more solutions than this is fucked, that's fucked, and we're all fucked.
Yeah, so I do agree with you about like how anti-Semitism, quote unquote anti-Semitism, is being kind of pushed. And it does make me think like, okay, they control Meta, they control TikTok now with Larry Ellison, with Oracle, Mark Zuckerberg, you know, he's Jewish, with Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook. Why is there more like anti-Jewish stuff being pushed, and why are people getting microphones for that? So it does make me like skeptical as well. But at the same time, those telling the truth and being smart and strategic on how they deliver the message, they're the ones who are getting silenced and censored and shadow banned. So that is very eye-opening and a little bit weird, to be honest. But I mean, I'm not like a scholar like within Islam, but we're not supposed to hate. Like we do consider like the Jews and the Christians people of the book, Ahl al-Kitab. And we like it's all the same message. It was just delivered at different times. You know what I mean? We believe in Moses. We believe in Jesus. We believe in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him. So, I mean, I think there's a lot more things we have in common than that are different. As Anthony mentioned, some things about how we view Jesus, peace be upon him, compared to how the other religion views Jesus.
For sure. Brian, are you Muslim? Have you converted to Islam, or because I know you said your wife's Palestinian, or she's Christian Palestinian?
Yeah, my wife is American Palestinian. She's Muslim. I keep my religion private, so I'm not going to answer.
No worries.
I feel like when I breathe my last breath, I'm at peace with God, and when that comes, I'll be the one dying, so I'll be on the line and I'll answer for that. So that's
totally
just kind of how I am.
Church separation. Totally understandable. Totally understandable. Totally understandable. So then let me ask, what are some of your first moves? If let's say you win, what are some of the first moves that you're doing once you get in there?
Well, just real quick, I think if we get 5 to 7 people that are third party or disruptors, that greatly grabs control from the Democrats and Republicans and really throws things off from keeping one party over the other. And so it isn't needing to have a complete renovation of the whole cabinet. You get 5 to 7 real, X factor people in there that can really disrupt things. If I were to get in there, I'd want to, provide that, be that X factor that's you're going to be adamant about human rights and not going to bend towards corporate, corporations who try to get you to, pass this law for their benefit, or any type of billionaire's influence won't work on me. We won't accept that type of money, so we won't have any of that connection. So I'll just purely look to bring legislation that benefits the people for only that reason, and I'll have that opinion, focused and serving towards the legislation role. And I can join certain committees like the foreign the military committees and try to bring influence to those as well as far as being in that position.
And you're friends with I don't want to butcher her name, but Josephine?
Yeah.
Is she running as well, or she's
not
planning
running,
on?
but she's a strong activist, and she brought up something that I was wanting to mention to you. I can't remember exactly, but she's a super passionate, strong activist she wants to save the children. She's got young children herself, and she's very concerned about the world they're going to grow up in, and she's very disappointed with how the men of our world are acting, not standing up against the Epstein class, not stepping up for these things. And but I'm glad there's young men like William here that are going to step up and do what she's wishing people will do, and stand up and have some strength against this horrid disgrace of humanity, the Epstein class, and the nasty things they have shown they do and things.
Yeah, I mean, we hosted our friend Scotty the Kid. He did a march for the children or whatever for the Epstein files. The first one was what was the date? I forget whatever the date was, but we hosted one out. I hosted it out here in Austin. Only 22 people showed up. So like you could tell people that they're eating children and in pizza shops, and they still don't care. Something needs to happen that's going to affect their life. Like, I don't know what it would be, but it's hard to break these people out of this kind of NPC kind of thinking,
Yes, I think that they're waiting for the news to tell them, and it's just never going to happen,
Right.
And Brian, I was curious, like, after this event took place, what was your feedback? Did you get any political feedback from people that were on your side, people reaching out like in favor of wanting to help you? Did you get pushback in the opposite direction as well? Like what was coming out of that? Like what was kind of the climate of things?
When I got home and I couldn't sleep at night, so I came downstairs and started checking out my campaign emails and going through them from the first one forward, and it was just 98% supportive. What you did in the Senate was what we all needed to hear. We support you. And so lots of real good support, lots of genuine, well written out emails. So I got that from the people. I got a lot of media attention and interview requests. And so a lot of positivity, nothing from any conservative news media groups, which was interesting, being that I'm a military veteran and that's what they kind of tout, being, very supporting the troops and all. So, but never got anything from Fox or anything like that. Definitely felt the shun from some local media groups. And even, they weren't interested in me. And so you are curious to know who wants to hear your story and who doesn't. I got to be on Piers Morgan. I was very nervous for that. He can be pretty, get you with the gotcha questions and things. But I stayed all right with that and got my message across there. And he wasn't very gotcha with it. But so yeah, that's just kind of how things have gone. But mostly a lot of support, a couple of death threats here and there. But I mean, that's just wackos just trying to, do their thing. So who knows? It's been pretty good.
By wackos, do you mean Jews? Just kidding. I'm kidding.
Did Tucker reach out to you? Because I think that would be a great interview. Because he seems to be very outspoken about he doesn't like what's going on, to the point where Trump called him out.
Yeah, he hasn't. That would be amazing to talk with him. I really appreciate his move with progressing and calling out things for what they are. As a Christian conservative he's showing that you can grow into and you can expand your mind and see things for what they are. You don't have to stay, plugged into your little fenced in belief system and not look outside of it. I just feel like so many people are just stuck in what they're told. And Tucker is being a role model for a lot of them to open up and open their eyes. And his interview with Huckabee was great, exposing Huckabee's bought outness. So we're all so imperfect. We need other imperfect people to reach us. And so, because we're all imperfect, so we all have to work together. And that's why everything's building and building with more and more people picking up so those people can reach other people. So I think that's how we win. And it's very, very, very frustrating. And I don't have enough patience for it. It should have happened yesterday, but hopefully it continues in this, and we do reach a critical mass and we don't have to under Palantir and have the dystopian future, and we can't just stand up and stop these things. And I spoke to this guy. His name's a progressive Jew. He's 60 years old, author off of Facebook, and he thinks things are going to turn around rapidly. When Israel falls, it's going to happen rapidly, and people are going to be like, "Why didn't this happen so much sooner?" But that's his take, and he's another good Jew.
I'm curious, like, where's the hope coming from? Because I want to have some so bad, like, of Israel falling, like we have videos coming out of them trying to pretend that Netanyahu's alive. Like we have all these weird things taking place. Something is definitely happening. I just can't put my finger on it. Oh yeah, go ahead. Take it.
I hate to be this guy. I really do. I hate to be this guy. They want that. They want everybody to hate them, and they want that's part of their prophecy. The whole world needs to go against them for them to be able to build the third temple. So even if that guy's a good Jew, him telling you that is like him telling you like this is what Judaism is. Like the whole world will turn against Israel. It's it's like prophecy. To them, it's prophecy, and they cannot build the third temple without it. William, I'm sure you could tell them all about it.
So they want to build the third temple all over Al-Aqsa Mosque, basically. So Al-Aqsa is the compound. We have there's the Dome of the Rock, the beautiful masjid there. Then there's the old masjid. which is actually Al-Aqsa Mosque, and that's where we believe the Prophet, peace be upon him, went to heaven, and then on a white horse, and that's where he came back, made his night journey. But they want to demolish all that. They had it closed for over 40 days, during Ramadan, during the holiest time of the year for Muslims, and they closed the church for the Palestinian Christians as well. So not even the Christians weren't allowed to celebrate Easter. And then there's Orthodox Christians that had it like a week later, I believe, and they are also banned from doing religious activities and festivals, and they also get targeted and killed. Like churches in Gaza have all been destroyed. Christians in Gaza have been killed. The Christian hospital, the only Christian hospital in Gaza, has been destroyed as well. So it's not not all Palestinians are Muslim. Some people don't understand that. In fact, Palestinians were one of the first Christians ever. And there's Palestinian families who are Christian who can trace their identity or their lineage back thousands of years. So people just don't even understand that because of decades long of brainwashing and propaganda.
Yeah, especially Jesus. Jesus is Palestinian.
Yeah, there you go.
They don't.
I don't want to be I don't want to say that because people think I'm biased. But thank you for saying it for me. Appreciate it.
It's facts. It's just facts.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, part of the prophecy for them is that they want the world to turn against them. Like they can't. There's a certain list that they have to follow, basically, essentially, for them to be able to bring back the Moshiach. The Moshiach is the Messiah, and a lot of what I'm hearing because I go on like Jewish TikTok because now that's what the whole fucking thing is. Excuse my language. But they literally tell on themselves. They say oh, Trump's the Moshiach. Like they say it. If you really want. And it's not even an anti-Semitism thing. This is why I feel like my Instagram is able to float and be okay. Is because I literally just post what Jews say. You know what I mean? Like it comes out of their own mouths. They tell on themselves constantly. I don't know if you saw that video. It was the most disgusting video I ever saw in my life. It was of that Palestinian streamer, and he's talking to an IDF soldier. He's like, "You kill children." He's like, "Yeah, I kill children." He's like, "You go to Lebanon and kill children?" He goes, "Yeah, I go to Lebanon and kill children." He goes, "You kill babies?" And he goes, "Yeah, I kill babies." Like they tell on themselves. They tell on themselves. Like you literally, they're the most arrogant people ever. Like this is what the curse that they've always had. They've always been haughty. The pride comes before the fall, right? These are who these people are. They will tell you. They will tell you their prophecies. They'll tell you who they believe in. Like it was one of the easiest things ever to learn about Mendel Menachem Schneerson. I don't know if you know who that is, but Mendel Menachem Schneerson is basically the rabbi of Chabad Lubavitch, and they believe that he is the Messiah. And my personal opinion is I think Donald Trump did a ritual at his tombstone, and I think that he invoked the spirit of the Messiah into him, Mendel Menachem Schneerson. But they'll tell you this stuff. Like there's so many different pages on TikTok of rabbis and Chabadists and all these people. They tell on themselves. Like they'll tell you exactly what's going to happen in their religion. They're going to tell you exactly what they want done. And it's like this is something that they want as a prophecy, is the whole world to turn against them. So yes, you're right. The anti-Semitism thing is cranked up to the highest level because of that. And yes, they all will go back to Israel, and Israel will fall, but that will be part of their prophecy because they believe that if this happens, then they're able to bring in the third temple, which will bring in the Antichrist. And what people don't understand is that the Jews don't believe that the Antichrist is actually a spiritual being. They believe he's a world ruler. Okay. And my personal opinion is this is all fake prophecy anyway. They're making these Zionist Christians believe that this is the end times and Christ is going to return and everything, this dispensationalist Bible, the Schofield Bible or whatever. My personal opinion is Donald Trump is the beast that's going to set up the beast system, this fake beast system. And I think Jared Kushner will be the Antichrist. I think that's who will be worshipped in the third temple.
We believe in that too. Well, like the Antichrist, it's called the Dajjal in Islam, and we think he will be coming out of, which is land that used to be Palestinian land, at Lid, and there's going to be an Antichrist, and then there's going to be we believe in the Messiah as well. There's something I wanted to mention. What about that ritual about piercing the ear? That's when they say Trump got shot.
Yeah, Exodus.
Yep.
It was an Exodus. That it was the goy that pierces their ear is a slave to a Jew forever.
So some people think that was Trump selling basically himself to people think he's the non-Jewish Messiah or something. So
yes, but he said himself he's a Jew. Mark Levin was like, this is our Jewish president, and Trump's like, yeah, I am. It's like, okay, so you're a Jew then. You're not a Christian. You're pandering to all these Christians. This is the number one thing that like makes me know Trump is a Jew, is because he literally gave his daughter away to Judaism. If you're a Christian, a staunch Christian, then you would never give your daughter away to a Jew. Just reality. You know what I mean?
He converted in 2017.
Exactly.
Yeah, my friends say that too. They say he's the first Jewish president. But
yeah.
Well, and he even bragged about all these presidents said they were going to do this, but I came in and I actually got these things done. I'm doing them.
Like moving the embassy to Jerusalem and giving the Golan Heights to Israel, even though it's Syrian territory. Yeah, he's on a tight leash, man. It's crazy.
He's on the third temple coin. Like there's an actual coin. He's on the third temple coin. Yeah, they believe that he's the King Cyrus, and King Cyrus is the one that freed the Jews. That's what I'm saying. Like this stuff is like it's biblical. It's a history lesson. Like most people that just learned about Israel and stuff, like William, you could tell them all about it. About the Nakba, like Ergon and Lehi, and these literally the IDF, the modern IDF that we're seeing today was made by terrorist organizations. Like literally, like they're all labeled as terrorist organizations. So it's like
by the British, the Palestinians, and there were even some like other Jews that labeled these people terrorist groups as well. So they killed a lot of the British during the Mandate in Palestine. They killed a lot of Palestinians. They kept stealing our land, and they poisoned our water, and they raped our women, and they like literally destroyed everything you can think of. That's the Nakba, from 1948. So it was built on like Palestinian blood and land.
Yeah. And then another thing that, a great book I suggest people to read is One Nation Under Blackmail. It explains the people that were actually supplying these groups with weapons, and it's literally everybody Donald Trump came up with. You know what I mean? Meyer Lansky, Roy Kahn, the Rosentiels, the freaking what's the ones that own Seagrams? I can't think of their names right now.
Graf, what's your take on, like, let's get a little bit conspiratorial here, and what about Marina Abramovich saying that Trump is the best thing that ever happened to us?
Yeah, well, Trump is a magician. He's a dark magician. He's what's known as the Moonchild. They did a ritual back in the 1940s it was called the Babylon Working Ritual. And this was an Aleister Crowley ritual. And Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard, they did this ritual, and supposedly Trump is this moonchild that will rule through liberty. That's why like that new picture that was posted of him like as Jesus, and then there's like a demonic Statue of Liberty looking creature behind him, is because the moonchild will actually rule through liberty. So like Donald Trump is appointed for these times. Like I'm not going to like waste the whole show on this, but I can show you how Donald Trump has been connected to the Epstein people before Epstein was around, how he was connected to the people that literally created the Nakba, that gave weapons to Ergon, that gave weapons to Lehi. A lot of people don't even know who Adnan Khashoggi is. Like, there's so much stuff that people miss out because they have no idea. And like, what happened is a lot of people got tricked by the Q stuff and thinking like, oh, Trump is going to be the savior, and he's not one of these guys. I fell for it. You fell for it, whatever. But like, and this like brings me back to Brian. Sorry, Brian, that we're going off on a tangent here. Really sorry about this. But this brings me back to you. It's like, yes, you are one guy, and we pray to God that you can change the system from the inside, but we need a lot more Brians. You know what I mean? Like, what's your message to people that maybe want to get in the same position as you? Like, how are you going to fight this? How are you going to fight this 7-headed dragon, man?
I'm just seeing the fruits of the actions of death and killing, and we disagree with that. I repeal from that. I rebuke it, and the lies that are said to justify war are the source of all this evil and all this wrongness. So we got to cut that off and bring accountability for those that are justifying and enacting all these things. And we've got a good long record of what's been happening over the last 2.5 years in reference to Gaza. We have a good idea of how October 7th was allowed to happen. We have lots of evidence about 9/11 and the dancing Israelis and all the information they knew, which they did not give to us in regards to this attack. All of this should be understood and accepted by the population. And like back to White Rabbit's point, we're waiting there. A lot of us are waiting to be told, and that's not going to happen. So people have to find it within themselves to, believe themselves and believe their heart and take that and roll with it. Sadly, so many of us have eaten too many carbs and are just well overweight and just can't get out and do anything and are stuck in this world of TV and fast food and the iRobot movie, not iRobot, but Wall-E. And so it's happening, and all the prophecy you speak about makes me want to try to add a third option is if none of that's true and why, but there's such strong narratives that the governments are exploiting those narratives to make big moves. I'm not saying one way or the other, but I just don't want to full-heartedly believe that we're destined to just die and
we're not.
And the end of the world is coming. I prefer to just try to work with what we can and do what we can, and God will judge us accordingly and see our hearts. He sees our hearts. He sees our intentions, and it's really. I'm just as confused as anybody about what's happening, but I just want to try to fight against what I see as evil.
I respect it. I respect it. And let me just say, like, the whole entire thing about the prophecy and all that stuff, I think they're faking it. But I think the problem is that they have the control, the psychological operation of so many of these Christian boomer Zionists that's the problem. And that's why I go back to my saying that sometimes, the pen is mightier than the sword. And for this, the mic is stronger than the bullet, and I think that if we wake people up to say that, no, this is a fake Bible that you're following, this is a Schofield rendition of a dispensationalist Bible, that none of this stuff's going to actually happen. This is just Jews using you so they can go and do their prophecies. And it's not even going to be like a spiritual prophecy. It's just that they're going to do, what most people that went down rabbit holes would call the New World Order is actually pretty much called the Jew World Order, right? Like they want to take over the entire world. And the way to fight it is by in power of numbers and people like you stepping up. And we need, I don't know your thoughts on Dan Bilzerian, but I mean, he's going against Randy Fine. That's pretty badass. I think that's another person that's stepping up. I think William, honestly, you're a fucking genius, man. You should step up. You should go.
You are, William. You're a genius, bro.
You should, dude. Really, you need to run. You need to run. And you're in Chicago. I think you could win. I think that's a good place. And now, Brian, like, I really never even looked into the Green Party. I know like Jill Stein's in it or whatever. Like, what does that mean? Is it like,
you can summarize it easy as like people, planet, and peace over profit. We do not accept any corporate donations, no PAC money, and so it's always shoestrung us for the longest time. But you don't usually have a lot of funds that way, so campaigns don't usually take it off. Dan Bilzerian told me himself, to win a Senate race, it's $50 to $100 million. We have nowhere near that kind of money. But yeah, I've been able to talk to Dan Bilzerian and was very starstruck and excited to speak with him. And it's interesting. I like to talk to you about this. My campaign's concerned about his reputation as what he's done in the past, and me talking with him, and concerned about the conflation of whatever. But I think he's speaking so poignantly and so appropriately about what's happening. How could you not support what he's saying? And he's going against Randy Fine. I'm all for him. I support him 100%.
Same.
Very thankful to that he is joining this race and speaking out against these horrible things. But the Green Party itself it's against ICE. It's for all races. It's against racism, and so it doesn't want to fall into any type of white nationalist, America first, old slogan, kind of thing. It wants to stay open to other races, and so we don't want to get typecasted as just really conservative or any type of white nationalist group. So this is the game of politics that I'm new to and very uncomfortable with. I'd rather just shoot from the hip. I say what I mean and let that be enough. But sometimes you can talk yourself down a hole. They can politicize you and smear you and fool a lot of the NCPs or whatever they are and people that think they're not. But what I say to that is, like, if they're not going to vote for me anyway. I don't care to pay, talk with them. I'm here to start a new understanding and talk to new people that are already wise to the things and be a vessel for them to trust and go into government.
Brian, that sounds awesome, brother. If people want to get involved with this Green, it's the Green Party. And how would they go about doing that? And if they want to support you and your campaign and everything that you got going on, where would they find that so that I can go ahead and put those live links in the show?
Thank you so much. You can go to the Green Party. I don't know what greenparty.org or something. I don't know what the national website is, but you Google Green Party. I'm sure the national website can come up. We always get third place every run. We're the biggest third party there is. And the NCGP is North Carolina Green Party. And then I have a website. It's brianmcginnis.org. But yeah, anybody who would love to support that would be great.
We'll definitely support that. One more question about the Green Party, because I don't know if this is true or not. This is what some people say. Is it like a climate change thing?
Yeah, it's an eco-socialist group. And
Okay.
so if it's not good for the planet, it's not probably something we're going to support as far as, policies and developments.
Okay.
Very pro-planet.
Okay. I respect that. I mean, me personally, I don't believe in climate change. I think that it's, I think that the Club of Rome started it to be able to control the world. It's one of the part of the Illuminati. But I believe that we're destroying the planet for sure. No question,
Yeah, I'm with you, Anthony. I am not educated enough to know, how the dips and dives of our world temperature really fluctuates and really means. I heard we're going in a circle around our complete universe. So does that have anything to do?
I think we live in a flat Earth, so you don't want to go with me. So
okay. But also, I do know we're polluting our oceans. I do know we've got plastic particles up on the tops of our altitude. So I mean, we're having an effect. So we need to police ourselves. So I think that's a good thing to go.
For sure.
One thing about the Green Party is people went to it because they were frustrated with the Democratic Party because they're finally finding out that, okay, they're fucking fake. They're literally they're doing the same thing that they bitch and complain about when Republicans do, but they're just doing it in a sneaky way. So I know a lot of people who went as a protest vote or as a way to protest the Democratic Party. They just went to the Green Party. I myself have always voted independent. I'm not married to any party. I don't give a fuck about certain candidates. If I like someone, if I think that they have the best chance, I will back them. Because I voted Libertarian before. I voted Green Party this past election because I'm not going to vote for Harris. Fuck no. And I'm not going to support Trump. So I've always been independent. But I know that's people just go to them because they are the biggest independent group, and they just want to get rid of this two-tier system, two-party system.
For sure. What's your thoughts on Thomas Massey?
I love him. Me or Brian?
Well, Brian, but I
love Thomas Massey. I think he's fantastic. Yeah, I think I hope he runs for president. He just seems like a great voice for the people.
Yeah, I really love Thomas Massey. Right now, because I never would ever say I was a Republican. Like I said, I got tricked by Trump into QAnon. I thought he was gonna stop Pizzagate and stuff. I fell for that Jewish psyop. But I've always been against government. I was listening to Immortal Technique and shit back in the day, going down rabbit holes my whole life. So I never really believed in government. But the more that I hear about libertarianism and all that stuff, I feel that's where I align most. I just can't really get behind the guy that's running it right now is he's got sugar in his tank. I'm not against gay people. I'm just saying,
So Fuck, man. What was I going to say? I had something good to bring up too, but
Sorry.
it's all good. I will say that the first time that President Trump ran, I voted for Roseanne Barr. So I didn't like Hillary and I didn't like Trump
She's
either.
a huge Zionist. She's
Now
horrible.
I know I didn't know that then, and like honestly, back then I probably didn't even realize.
No,
what
she
that
changed.
was.
She changed. She changed. She wasn't like that. She changed.
Oh, really? Because she
Yeah.
was the first person I heard talking about MK Ultra coming from like the mainstream people. You know, I'm like, oh shit, she had like a successful TV show and everything, and she's out here talking about shit.
Yeah,
Like,
no, she's super Zionist now, though.
yeah, she wouldn't have Stu Peters on, and
Yeah, I wonder why.
I voted for Gary Johnson that election, 2016. He was a libertarian, so that was my first time being able to vote, and I voted for Gary Johnson. So, I mean, he got
hell yeah. So Brian, if people want to donate their time or money, they can go to brianmcginnis.org. And if you want to shoot over in Instagram, if you want to shoot me over any other links that you want to have, I'll go ahead and live link those in the audio version that comes out next week. And if you guys are watching this live and you want to come back an hour after this show is already all said and done, in the description, I'm going to have all the links to follow William, Anthony, myself. And if you want to donate time, money, or give Brian a follow, I'll have the links for you guys to go ahead and be able to do that. Brian, I did want to thank you for taking the time out of your Friday night, man. Fridays are always hard to get people on, and you were able to come on. I appreciate that. And before we leave here, I did want to give everybody here the floor to get anything said that they were not able to get said tonight. And Ant, we'll go ahead and start with you, brother.
Oh, I feel like I've said so much already. Let these guys talk.
Okay, William, the floor is yours, brother.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here again with all of you. It means a lot, for me to be here and be able to tell a little bit of my story and my people's struggle. So today is actually Palestinian Prisoners Day. So I want to talk about really quickly. There's 9,600 Palestinians held hostage by Israel. 3,500 of them are under administrative detention, so without charge or trial. 342 are children. They literally have children in jails, holding them hostage, torturing them. 84 of them are women, and 119 are serving life sentences. So I just wanted to mention that they have prisons all throughout, our stolen land, and they have underground prisons. People don't see daylight. People eat very shitty food, like once a day if they're lucky. They literally have dogs attack them. They train dogs to rape them. No joke. They have IDF soldiers, IOF soldiers rape prisoners, Palestinian prisoners. So I just wanted to acknowledge that today, April 17th, is Palestinian Prisoners Day, and we hope to see a liberated Palestine and to hope to see my people have some freedom, inshallah. So thank you, guys.
Man, how fucking demoralizing. That is just horrible. I'm sorry, brother. Yeah, the more people we can wake up to this shit, because it's like Anthony was saying earlier, is like people are raping, trafficking, and eating kids, people, and that's not enough, and unfortunately it's going to take somebody to come out on the fucking news and be like, guess what, we've been fucking lying to you guys, sorry about that, our bad. That's never going to happen, unfortunately. So we do have to keep fighting, and all four of us right here, we see something wrong in our world and we're attacking it in different ways, and I think it's great. We got Brian that's actually going to get out there and run for something. He got in front of people and made his voice heard. Did they actually break your arm, bro?
Yeah, they did. They broke my arm. You can see a little bit of stitches there and a little bit of stitches there. Where the orthopedic surgeon had to get in there and put the bones back together, the ulna and radius.
And didn't the guy that attacked you, he was a Navy SEAL, right?
Yeah, he's a Gravy SEAL, Tim Sheehy, too fat to be in there. Tony Aguilar, again, my fellow Green Party, he's a 25-year Green Beret. He called him out and
yeah, right
there on the scene. But what Williams spoke about, what's happening to Palestinian prisoners, I mean, it's a lot to process. And we've talked about how people are waiting for the news to tell us? Well, I think that what the real news is just too hard for most people to take in. People just can't really believe this to be true. But it's starting to, people are starting to understand it is true. Dogs, they're training dogs to rape humans. They've raped people themselves. How demoralizing, and what a intentional act of dehumanization, demoralization. It's all to try to break the will, and this story is taking more shape in the minds of people, and people are becoming more able to understand and process these things, which will be a hard thing to do, but it's necessary for people to wake up in this critical mass we reached, so we can affect change and win out over the Epstein class. One thing I think I could do, and what I want to bring in my Senate race, is to not only stop the bleeding of our money going over towards Israel and helping them with our troops and our treasure, but to stop that exporting of violence, come back, bring the funds home to benefit the North Carolinians and our state, and also redirect some funds to atone for our sins of our American history towards Black communities in North Carolina, and start a trend of reparations. I know this is a long shot, and that word can sound the alarm bells for a lot of people, but the amount of money we've paid abroad to kill, we should reallocate and redirect our society's attitude to atonement, to accountability. And I think doing this message directly back to the Black communities in North Carolina, one of the southern states, is a way to direct not only our funds, but our society's mind and direction and perceptions into an atonement sense. And then don't stop there. We've hurt tons of people and we have plenty of it to atone for. So starting with the Black communities.
Can I say something real fast?
Native Americans.
Can I say something real fast?
Yeah.
Can I say something real fast? Jews did that as well. I deserve reparations as well, because Jews were the ones that owned those ships and did slavery. So yeah, just the same way that they broke the Black community, they broke the white community as well. I'm Italian. Italians are treated like shit when they came to this country. So I mean, like the reparation thing, I think like we need to work about getting reparations to our whole entire country. Yes. You know what I mean? You might lose people with that stance. I'm just being real with you.
Right.
Just coming from a real American voter, somebody that really would vote for you and really be on your side about that, you will lose people with that.
Right.
I'm just being honest.
That. But you say one last thing, and that's kind of a general idea of my hope to take what we're doing, which is horrible.
Let's get our money back. Let's get our money back from them and give it to everybody that deserves it in this country. White, Black, Indian, whoever, Yeah. Maybe not Indian. Just kidding. I'm joking. But seriously, though, we all deserve reparations for what we went through. They've been controlling everything for a long time. Okay, they've completely stunted our growth as humans. From exploring deeper levels of consciousness, of understanding our body, of these fake sicknesses, of these diseases. They've been poisoning the well forever. We all deserve reparations, okay? Yeah. And they have billions of trillions of dollars that they stole from us, starting with the Rothschild family on. So we deserve it all, not just, and I love Black people. I come from New Jersey. I have plenty of Black friends. We all deserve reparations. If we fall into this lie of that the white man is evil and that we created slavery, and that's all a lie. Go listen to Malcolm X. Malcolm X said the Jew owns all the stores in the hood that has taken all of our money.
Well, shit, dude, I don't want to open up a whole new rabbit hole, but we don't need reparations. Easy for me to fucking say. What we need is our birthrights back. When our parents signed off our birth certificate, that is our corporation now that is being traded. And so when you actually go in to get a loan, your corporation is backing that loan because your birth certificate, that is your birthright, is worth millions, and they take that from you at birth. Yeah. So what we need is our birthrights back to us.
Yeah. No, they owe us all trillions of dollars. And like I said, I'm not trying to step on your toes on any of that stuff. I'm just telling you, like, just as an American person, how you'll win more people over is by saying that we all deserve reparations. We've all been fucked here. You know what I mean? I understand the black people have gotten it the worst, and that's kind of part of the system. If you go and read the book by William Cooper, Behold the Pale Horse, the ghettos and all the stuff was created for that reason. But we've all been robbed blind by these disgusting billionaires that just happen to be Jewish, you know? I have two more questions though. My first question is, what's your thoughts on Joe Kent? Do you align? Like, I think you guys should probably link up, you know?
That'd be fantastic. And I think he thought his move was brave to speak out and resign. So yeah, I think he's much more trustworthy than anybody else that's affiliated with Trump or the Intelligence Committee. So I very much applaud him and admire his move there.
Same. And then, do you know Michael Rechtenwald?
Not by name.
Okay, so Michael Rechtenwald, you need to look into him. He's on X. I'll link you guys up. He actually did my friend's show, Word War Debate. He debated against Shabbos Kostenbaum. He actually has his own thing called AZ PAC, and it's America Against Zionism PAC. You should definitely get involved with that guy.
Okay,
for the position that you're trying to play. Yeah, I can definitely also get you on some other bigger shows, introduce you to some people. Really get you out there. William, I want to do the same for you, man. Your story needs to be heard. You are an inquisitive young man, and you need to be put in the spotlight, bro. You don't have enough followers. Like, we need to really get you guys out there. Brian, I really appreciate your time. Sorry, that for the reparations thing, I'm not trying to start a debate or an argument. I'm just saying.
No worries, man. No worries.
We all deserve for what's been taken.
I do think the blacks are very much disenfranchised and have.
I understand.
Have a complete, different way of life than most.
I get it. I do. I totally understand. William?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, fellas.
Of course.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys too. I think we're probably going to get kicked off of YouTube on our very first video, but like I'm expecting to get kicked off. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just like seeing how long we can be on the train and until they realize that we're on the train. So there was a time period there where if anybody even had me on their show and it was on YouTube, they got a strike just for having me on their show. So I've toned down a lot. During this episode, I bit my tongue so fucking much, you guys. But it is what it is. Brian McGinnis, you guys, he stood up to the people that actually matter, and he is running in North Carolina for the Green Party. Go give him a follow, you guys. Go check out brianmcginnis.org and see if there is a way that you guys can help. Also, please go check out our homie William Asfour, who is out there like tirelessly trying to wake people up about what is really happening out there. And I think that if more and more people were fully aware of the horrors that are really going on, then we would have more people grow a fucking pair and stand up and use their voice and stop being so fucking quiet. Because the more we go along and don't say anything, like I'm just going to go back along to that old saying, silence is compliance. And the longer that we comply with this, the more they're going to take and the more that they're going to get away with all of this shit. And the more of our rights are going to be stripped from us. And then we're going to wake up one day not being Americans anymore. And so I just want to say that. And thank you guys all for joining the show tonight.
I want to say one last thing too.
And I was just going to give you the microphone, brother. Go
one
ahead
last thing. I want to say that my thoughts are my own. They're not Brian's, they're not Williams, and they're not Catalyst. They're my own. Okay. So
we share pretty similar thoughts, brother.
No, well, yeah. I'm just saying for Brian is putting himself in this position where he's running for someone. Your thoughts are not my thoughts. I just want to say that.
I have to give you props, though. I love people like you, Anthony, who are just fearless and saying how they feel. I really admire that about you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I really do.
I admire that about you too, brother. That's why I fucking love doing these shows with you. And guys, we're going to try to start bringing these to you more regularly. I'm actually going to be coming out to Texas pretty soon to see Graf. We might be getting something set up out there so we get more of a professional look going for you guys. And thank everybody that did come and join on the YouTube for the first one, and our regulars that joined on Rumble. I thank you guys so very much for joining in. If you guys are just listening listening to this, you're getting this late. What in the hell are you doing? You guys could be joining the YouTube or the Rumble channels, be involved in the chats and be having fun with us right now. But instead, you're listening to this on your drive to work. Oh, well, it is what it is. As long as it's getting out to you guys, I appreciate that. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Ungoverned Outlaws. And remember, be ungovernable.